Alright, I'm back again. Long story. Well, that's so flattering. Yeah. Just being me. My god. Some people are saying that's. Don't you think that's a bit too much? Can't you be another word? Whatever. This is me in the here and now. When I get to be an old man, I'll be like, Margaret, can you get me the noodles? I have a lot to say about what happens when people age and how it feels to be older. Got some insight. Not changing the subject. Plenty of stuff to talk about. Hey. Okay. So when you're young, you talk about girls. I'm so guilty about talking about girls. I think I was the one huge horn dog amongst all the guys. Talk about girls all the time. Talk about their bodies. I've had some influences. My father knows, because he caught us one time at my birthday party, and a bunch of guys over sleeping over. We were watching a movie on HBO, and it was one of those movies where a girl asked the guy to help her move a bed. Do I have to get into the details? Oh, they were gonna move a bed, alright. It just wasn't gonna move to the other side of the room quite the way you'd want it to. It would be moving in other ways. Okay, those of you that are old enough, you would know. But anyway, yeah, that stuff was. Man. I got to see a few things like that when I was young, so that it was quite interesting. It didn't help in any way to temper the hormones and all the stuff jumping around in you, and just party. Party was the mode right back then. Couldn't get them out of your mind. So anyway, yeah, you grow up. When you get out of school, you have more free time. I came to college, fortunate enough to land in Massachusetts. I still live in the same town that I lived back then, and I'm quite comfortable. I like it here. It's beautiful. There's more people. The thing I like most is that there's lots of different kinds of people. Where I'm from, everybody's the same. The French, white, Catholic. I hate to say the word white, but let me see. French, Caucasian, Catholic. That's something my parents gave me. It's rosary. You have faith. Okay. I'm not so much a devout Catholic anymore these days. There's things that have happened in the church. I'm not saying that's entirely why that, I've kind of come away from things, but I still go to church on Christmas and for certain holidays. So, yes, everybody needs to find their way. I'm going to talk about faith some other time, but yeah, when you get out of college, you have your own place. You, on your own, you're taken care of, so you have a car. Some people don't have a car. I needed a car. I needed a car to make 436 miles that way to go home. And I depended on that car. So I went and did that. And it was a lot of fun. Finally, first night I got to stay at my place with my parents away. Tremendous sense of relief. It's like part of a big weight lifted off of me. Just to be away, be independent, have my own thing. Sleep. Sleep. Can't say how valuable that is. It's a good thing. I slept a lot. Once again, still depressed about a lot of things, but there's issues. There's issues all the time. I didn't see going to a therapist. Nobody said anything about that. I went once. I went for a while back in the time when I was going to work and working at night. I had a difficult time with that, so I went to see somebody for a while, and I left. But yeah, I get to be independent. I went to find my own hairstylist, and you know what? For crying out loud, they still didn't cut my hair quite the way that I wanted to. See, here's the thing. When you're a guy, and you want your hair cut a certain way, the salon person, guy or girl, doesn't matter who it is going to cut it a certain way. Cut it along masculine forms and all that stuff. So I went to let my hair grow, and I get to realize after a while, I said, hey, this guy is not going to be doing it the way I want to, so you know, it'd be best to just let it grow long. I didn't eventually get to that point. I have a picture I'm going to share with you. I got to the spring last semester of my study at college, and plenty of rock stars are doing things. There's one rock star that I admired at the time, and he lost a bet with somebody, and he had to shave his head. So he shaved his head, and as a result, they had to go touring some X months later, right? So he let it grow long, and he had a short hairstyle. And he kind of went with that, and I saw it in the magazines. Hey, I like this guy. He's a cool rock star guy. He lives out in California. For those of you in Southern California, you might know who I'm talking about. He's really big in the 80s. Also kind of big in the 90s, early, mid-90s. And, he looked cool. I said, you know what? Some rock stars are taken after this. He was like a ringleader of this, and, they cut their hair short, and I kind of thought, you know what? Let me explore my masculine side for a change. Let me indulge in this thing. One time, the salon person cut my hair a bit short a certain way, and I kind of looked at it a while, and the reflection of the window was a big picture window in the place where I eat. And I said, you know what? I can go for this. So I just said, hey, cut it like this. So he did. And it was cool for about, I don't know, maybe 2 years max. I went with it. I described it as my Beverly Hills 90210 kind of look. California look. California. I still have a solid place in my heart for California. Haven't been there. I will be there someday. And, you know, it was cool. And I did that, and I dressed accordingly, and said, you know, I'm not a bad-looking guy, and all this kind of stuff. Eventually, I got, you know, my job, my professional job, working in a laboratory, wearing a nice lab coat, doing things, high-tech, very technical. God, technical. And did that kind of stuff. Eventually, you know, I came across a situation where I was set to work at night. So I worked at night. It wasn't terribly fun. I never adjusted to that schedule. And times were very difficult for me. I wasn't eating right. I wasn't sleeping right. I had no balance in my life at that time. And I was struggling with normal stuff. I mean, you know, you don't see people during the day. And when you work at night, you live at night. So you live at night on the weekends too. It was a very difficult time. I got depressed. Very, very depressed. Probably the lowest point I'd ever been at. Never mind the depression I was dealing with before. So, I got to the point where I didn't want to live anymore. It was probably spring of the following year. Probably 8 or 9 months in. And the way I'm wired up is, you know, I'm not wired up to take my own life, to do things like that. I can't do it. It's against my program. It's against what I'm made to do. So I was in a lot of pain. I didn't know what to do. I'd wake up in the morning, just see how beautiful it was outside. No, wake up in the morning. No, I'd be up in the morning, see the sunrise, look outside, and you know, I could see a bunny out hopping in the yard. I live in somewhat of a suburban area, but we see nature. And I was very, very upset that I couldn't be enjoying the world, maybe like that bunny was, or like everybody else in the normal world, the normal shift. And I hated that. It took me away from things. I wanted to date women, I wanted to have a social life, I wanted to be free. I've worked so hard in school, and I made the dean's list. I got very good grades. When you work that hard for something and you find that you have a job that doesn't work out the way you want it to, up to that point, that was the second laboratory I'd worked on. I had made a trip for my first job to go back to Maine, my home state, and the job opened up in Massachusetts, so I came back here, and I was quite happy and obliged to do that. So I did. And I ended up back home, same place, same town. It was beautiful. And I enjoyed that very much. I relished it. Maybe it was a sign. But yeah, I came back. I'm gonna end the video. I'm gonna go. People are gonna like the long video. It's still a story to tell. Alright, I'll be back. Hang on.